Morning, guys. So I am 37 weeks and 2 days, 3 days, 37 weeks and 3 days today. Never mind me choking on air, and never mind this lovely inmate colored shirt that I'm wearing right now. Why my husband ever thought it was a good idea to buy bright neon orange, I don't know. Anyway, I did not give you guys a 36-week update. I was going to, but it was so late into my 36th week that there was no point. I was almost 37 weeks by that time. What was the point? I went to my prenatal appointment Wednesday. Excuse me. Reflux is terrible. I went to my 37-week appointment on Wednesday, and everything went great. One slight downside, at my 36-week appointment, they did the Group B strep test on me, and I got the results for it this past Wednesday at my 37 week, and it was positive. So, it's a pain in my butt. If you don't know what Group B strep is, it's a test that they do in your third trimester, usually between weeks 35 and 37. To see if you are positive for it. It is basically, it's just a regular bacteria that we carry in our bottom area. If I'm not mistaken, I think even men carry it. It doesn't harm us by any means. It's just really very normal bacteria for us, but for babies it can be dangerous. There's numerous different things that, different problems that it can cause with newborns, from eye infections and even blindness to upper respiratory infections. It can lead to several weeks in the NICU. It can pose all kinds of problems. That being said, it's very, very, very extraordinarily, extremely rare that it would. Even like the course of action at that point, if you test positive for Group B strep or GBS, they give you IV antibiotics, normally 2 rounds. So when you first come in, when you're in labor, they'll give you the first round of antibiotics through IV, and then 4 hours later they'll give you a second one. Now, if you have a really super fast labor, or if it's your first baby and maybe you don't realize you're in labor right away, by the time you get to the hospital, you have your baby within 2 or 3 hours. I mean, obviously all they had time for was that first round of antibiotics. And even for women who, for whatever reason, choose not to get the antibiotics, or if they just don't, hey, we've all seen the show, I didn't know I was pregnant. So for women who didn't know, or who found out much, much, much later than what most of us would, and they have their baby with no prior prenatal care, it's still an extremely low chance that the baby would catch GBS or catch any problems from it. It's like, the way that they put it to me was, it's a 1 in 200 chance if you were to refuse the antibiotics. It's a 1 in 4,000 chance if you got the antibiotics. So in either case, it's very low. The antibiotics while you're in labor really, really, really cut the risk down. So I'm obviously going to go ahead and go with the antibiotic. I can't talk this morning. I don't know where my tongue is. It left. It went away. It went bye-byes. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get the antibiotics. And they're really flexible at the birthing center where I'm going to be at. I'm like, so do I need to be in the bed while you guys do this? Or they're like, nope, you know what, if you're in the tub, we give it to you while you're in the tub. If you're on the birthing ball, you know, if you're in bed, if you want to walk around, whatever it is that you feel the most comfortable doing, that's, you know, wherever you're at is where we'll go ahead and put that IV in and let you do your thing. And it only takes about a 10-minute course to get the full dose into your veins. And then from there we disconnect you from the IV. We still keep the, you know, we still keep the IV site there. We just disconnect you from the wires and everything like that so you can receive your second dose. And the second course of action that they take for the newborn is they put this, it looks like Neosporin, basically, like the creamy, like Vaseline texture Neosporin, and they put that in the baby's eyes, which sounds like so uncomfortable. It makes my eyes twitch. But they do that with a lot of babies. Some hospitals even do it with every single baby, regardless of if the mother tested positive for GBS or not, just as a precaution for any kind of bacteria or anything that was in the birth canal on their way out. They just go ahead and slap that stuff in their eyes, either way. And it's called erythromycin, and it's basically just a type of antibiotic cream. So they're going to do that. They did, however, mention to me that there is a slight chance that that my baby might need to stay in the hospital for 48 hours. They said that's more so the pediatrician's call. That being said, because I'm going out of town to give birth, like I've said in other videos, it's about a 50 minute to an hour drive from where I live. My pediatrician is obviously here in my town, and the birth center is over there. My pediatrician does not admit or go to the hospital. I don't even think they go to the one here. Like, because I picked a family practice, and if I'm not mistaken, the lady that sees my oldest son and it's going to be seeing my youngest, she's a nurse practitioner, not like an actual pediatrician, MD, whatever. So I guess they don't have like admittance rights to the hospital or something. I don't know. I don't completely understand it. I called there just to ask because they said in some cases pediatricians do want a baby that's born to a GBS positive mother to stay in the hospital for 48 hours just for observation, just to make sure that everything is okay before the baby goes home. The birthing center said, honestly, we don't necessarily advise that because we'd rather the baby just go home with you and not be exposed to all those extra germs, especially if you're doing the antibiotics, and, you know, because the antibiotics cut that risk down so drastically, and it's already really low to begin with. It's kind of an unnecessary step, and, you know, there's just basic things that you look out for. You just, you know, we're already going to be monitoring his vitals and checking his breathing and everything. They said really with GBS, the main thing is the eyes. Just really keep an eye on the eyes. Make sure they're not like oozing or puffy or red or irritated looking. If they are, hurry up and give the pediatrician a call, see if they can see him, which they're going to be seeing him in 48 hours after he's born anyway. And that being said, I even live like a 5-minute drive down the road from the hospital. I'm like right down the road from it in my town. Which I've said in other videos, I don't particularly care for this hospital, but in an emergency situation, it's nice to be close to a hospital in general. But, so, when I called my pediatrician's office, I told them the situation, and I asked them, so in this case, would you guys want to admit him or recommend that he gets admitted to the hospital after he's born? And they're just like, we don't really touch that because we don't do hospital admittance or anything like that. That would be up to the birth center. The birth center said it would be up to them. So I guess it's just a toss-up of whoever's going to be working that day and at what hours and who's on call and things like that. So I am going to be packing slightly more. Woohoo! Where'd the light go? I am going to be packing slightly more than what I had originally packed. The sad part is if I do have to stay out of town, I'm probably going to be staying by myself, because my husband can only really take that day off when the baby's born, unless it's like, you know, if it happens like on a day that he already has off and he's got a couple days off in a row, like that would be really, really, really super lucky. But otherwise he would have to get right back to work. So if we do have to stay, you know, he'd have to come back here, and my mom would be the one that would have to drive him, because we're all riding together. And you know, obviously my oldest, he can't just stay cooped up in a hospital room for 2 days. He'd go nuts being bored, and I certainly couldn't chase after him after just having given birth 2 days prior. So I'd kind of be up there all by myself, which is fine. But you know, I'm kind of with the birth center. It's such a low risk in the first place. I'd rather not. And you know, like I said, 5 minutes from the hospital where I live. So, plus with the antibiotics and the erythromycin in his eyes, I really don't see it being a problem, and especially with me breastfeeding. But, yeah, that was the only downside to my appointment. Good thing is, baby is still head down. He doesn't even really wiggle from side to side that much. Like, usually his butt stays over on my left side, head down, feet over to my right. That's pretty much the position he's been in for a month. He'll wiggle a little bit. Like, sometimes his butt will move over to the middle of my stomach. Excuse me. And, I think a couple times I've felt him actually completely, like, shift over to the right side. But he doesn't do that very often. He's still getting tons of hiccups. His heart rate was good, and I'm measuring perfectly, and I know you're all waiting for it. What was my weight? It was 120 pounds. So I am now currently what my weight gain journey goal was, you know, prior to being pregnant. So I've gained a total of 20 pounds so far. I technically still have about 2.5 weeks to go, but he could come anytime now. Anytime from 37 weeks on. So, any day now, really. I'm just kind of waiting around, sipping my red raspberry leaf tea, and trying to relax, but at the same time trying to get everything prepared for when he comes. I had certain things prepared, but then life happens and everything gets messy again, and it's just like, now I have to start over. But, so, 120 pounds. Now, that being said, I actually really need to come back on here at another time, and I need to make another video, updating you guys as to what my goals are going to be after he's born for weight gain, weight loss, getting back in shape, what have you. Because honestly, at this point, I am in a lot more pain this time around than I was the first time I was pregnant. And like I said, I gained about 11 pounds my first pregnancy. That is way too low, for my liking. I feel more comfortable having gained a bit more weight. I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, is he going to be underweight? Is he going to be too skinny? You know, what if he's like malnourished when he's born? I'm not so worried anymore. I wouldn't want to gain very much more, you know, maybe another 5 pounds at the most, but I wouldn't want like 35, 40 pounds on me or anything, which really, that's only if you're underweight. They ask you to try to aim for 35 to 40 pounds roughly. If you're at a healthy weight, 15 to 25, or no, 20 to 25, and if you were overweight, 15 to 20 is the standard. But I don't really, honestly, I'm not going to say too much. I just don't know if I want to stay at this weight. Like, my feet are horrendous as far as, like, how much pain I'm in for how little I'm on my feet. And if that's what 120 pounds is going to do to me, it's not worth it. Like, just for an aesthetic, just for how I want to look, it's really not worth it to me. I don't know if I'm just wearing the wrong shoes. I don't know if it's just because of the distribution of weight, because it's like all in my belly and my boobs. My husband says it's in my butt too, but I don't really see that perspective. I guess it'll be more apparent to me after the baby's born, but I'll make another video in regards to what my goals are going to be postpartum for weight and, and fitness and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, honestly, I'm not very aesthetically pleasing right now, and I don't feel like doing a belly shot. I'm sorry. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, I might post one on there. And if you don't follow me, I will post the link to my Instagram, or my Instagram name, down in the description box below. And you can head over there, and I will try and do a belly shot when I look a little bit better. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. And if I have not delivered by next week, then I will see you guys in another pregnancy update video for my 38th week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.